Hi everyone. Today is October 28th. Welcome to Konveyor Community Meeting. We abide by Konveyor's Code of Conduct, which means please be nice to one another. Um, Today we have a couple of exciting things on the agenda. Does anyone new want to say hi? All right.
Yes,
So
I'm
sorry.
I'm newcomer, a new joiner. I just had the invite yesterday, so happy to see a bit what is discussed in this community. So hi everyone.
Hey Stefan. Did I get the name right?
Yeah,
Cool. Welcome to Konveyor Community Meeting. We are excited to have you here. Um, All right. I have put the agenda link in the chat. Please feel free to add yourself to the agenda in the attendee list. Without further ado, the first topic today is a demo from Anchor. Do we have Anchor here?
Hopefully.
I don't think so.
No, I don't see him. Let me.
Maybe he's leaving.
I'm gonna ping him.
All right.
He's in college. It's still early if you're in college.
And then while we wait for Ankur, I'm gonna step on the next one. So we have a recurring topic, and I think that is from Ramon. Ramon, do you want to talk about it?
Yeah, I was hoping we could give an update about this knowledge management SIG we were discussing on the previous call. So I've been running the idea around some consulting folks that I know everyone was very excited about the possibility of this being put together. I think Savita, you had something in mind to kickstart this thing. Maybe not start as a SIG, but maybe as a SIG. I'll let you explain what you have in mind and the roadmap, potential roadmap that we could have for this.
Thank you, Ramon. Yes, so we are planning to kickstart a user group, and that would be a place for the consultants and SMEs to come and share their knowledge, and um, they can share the knowledge by various ways. One of those would be to create a blog post or like add their experience to a repository, which would be later displayed as a website so that it's easy for folks to search. And once they bring in all those stuff, and it will spark conversation, and we can also like take inputs from them and like get more ideas on what is happening in the outside world. So I don't know if I summarized it as good as Ramon would have, but this is my understanding. So like this is gonna be started as a user group. In 6 months, we would have a reevaluation to see like if it can be promoted to SIG with additional things added, or like if it is well suited as the user group itself. So that is the basic idea. And I think that's it for me. Ramon, did I miss anything?
I don't think so. I mean, to sum things up, the idea for those who weren't here on the past meeting was to put together a way to allow consultants, consulting architects, SMEs in the migration space to share raw knowledge that can then be leveraged by our engineering team. So we have engineers which are great in building great stuff, but maybe are not that experienced on the field on these larger scale migration projects. So what we want to do is lower the barrier for these SMEs to contribute their experience in a format, in a way that can then be leveraged by the engineers. So I was envisioning this team to not take charge only of deciding which are the, for example, migration roadmaps we should be tackling, things like that, but also trying to define alongside the engineering team a format in which an information format that can then be consumed and leveraged by the engineers. So yeah, that's the mission, and yeah, I guess that sums up the whole thing. Any questions about it for those who are new? or weren't present on the past meeting.
I just want to say thank you, Ramon. This is going to be really helpful. This is one thing that we've missed in prior things. As you mentioned, we'll have an engineering team that knows how to solve problems, but we don't always have the context of what we're solving. So this is great.
Okay.
Right. Sorry about that. I was trying to multitask by typing and like trying to talk at the same time. That did not go well. So I'll get back to the notes later. So thank you, Ramon, for that. And I think next week I'll be out. So once I come back from KubeCon, we will get started, kickstart the user group, have all the Slack. I don't know if we will get a Slack channel for it, but we will figure out a mailing list and all the stuff's ready.
Okay, cool. Thanks,
Awesome.
Tabitha.
Thank you. Next up is, do we have Ankur yet? I'm gonna go
Yeah.
like quickly.
Yes.
Hey, hi Ankur. Take it away.
Yeah. Sorry about the delay.
Oh, no worries at all.
Okay. I'll go ahead and share my screen. I hope everyone can see this.
Yep, we can.
Yeah. Okay. So basically, as part of Konveyor add-on teams, we were trying to understand how we can create new add-ons and how the integration works, and for the learning purposes. So we have created one new add-on that is on JCube. So I'll give a brief introduction what JCube is, and then we'll go to the demo. So JCube is basically an open source plugin which has various libraries and plugins that are used for building container images and Kubernetes resources. So it basically brings the Java application onto Kubernetes and OpenShift, and we can modernize those applications as part of cloud native development. So that's the brief of what JCube is, and next we are going to see how we can use it as an add-on. So can you see my video?
Yes, we can.
Okay, thank you. Yeah. So I'm hoping that my Tekel environment is already present, and I'm starting after that. So first, I'll show you that what all add-ons are there already. So these are the two add-ons that are there by default. And now I'll add another add-on that is JCube. So this is the add-on that we have created. Yeah. So once that add-on is added to the Kubernetes object, you can see that JCube is available here. Next, what we need to do is we need to populate data to the table that is required. Things like application and then the business services and all those things. So here I have created a script which contains all these things, which is the basic need for running any of the add-on or application. So I'll go ahead. I guess it's showing it again. So once I apply all these configuration, these data will be populated in the table, and we can see that as well. I'll show you right now. So we can see that there's one application over here, which we have generated just right now. I'll add the credential for this application so that I can push back to the repo whatever I have created using JCube. So I have added my identities, my GitHub token, over here, and I'll attach this token to my application. So here we can see that credentials are attached. And now I'll go ahead and I'll make a request to Tackle Hub for the JCube add-on. So first I'll see what all ports are there already. So here you can see that these are the ports as of now. And I just want to show what the request we are going to send. So this is the request to Hub that is going to be sent. Okay, so so we have successfully posted or requested for JCube add-on, and now we can see that another task here has come up. That is task 2. Now I'll skip to the waiting part where it will be waiting for it to be completed and running. Yeah, we can see that task 2 is completed now. So I'll just show you the logs, what's there, and then we'll see the output as well. So we can see that this task 2 is completed, and I'll just show the logs. So here we can see at the bottom of the screen that add-on report is succeeded and add-on updated. So it has completed without any failure. And now I'll show you the output, what it has done. So this was the application I used for the demo. And here you can see that it has just added a commit, and this is the commit files. These are the commit files. So this is a Docker file. This is a S2I image which JCube has created, and these are the Kubernetes manifest for the deployment and service that it has been able to create. So that's the part we have done for the JCube, and yeah, I mean, like, that is it for this demo. And if you have any question, please let me know.
I do have one question about the purpose or the goal we wanted to achieve with this demo. So was it to just see how easy it was to implement an add-on and see how the whole thing works, to prove how to push code to source code repositories from an add-on, or did we identify JCube as the suitable solution for augmenting repositories for deployment manifests generation?
The first one.
Okay, so it's
Yeah,
a POC.
Yeah, the thinking here, and this is something we need to go more into, but on the engineering side, what we are trying to think of is that could it be possible in Konveyor to reduce the friction for anyone to surface whatever they want in? This way, allow the community to do any experiments they want to. This would be an experiment to see if it can go in. And then the thought is that the community could kind of find out what's useful, and then that can kind of guide the things that are recommended. So this is that very first piece of us gaining more knowledge, and it's a POC that perhaps this would be something that would grow and be useful. We don't know right now.
Okay, understood. Thank you.
John, a related question on that, right? Do you think a POC, similar POC with the MotoCube would create the similar artifacts for languages?
Definitely. Yeah, Shock. The thinking is that we figure we have this hub with application inventory, and that's the central kind of piece. And then we want to be able to augment that with all different kinds of experiments. I think it'd be awesome to have MotoCube in one of those.
Yeah, I think that just to reiterate on like what John said, I think the big thing was to have more people understanding how the add-on architecture works and have experience writing add-ons so that we can better communicate about the process.
Yeah, the reason for the question was like MotoCube does very similar things as JCube. So was wondering the choice of JCube to start with. So that's fine if it is.
Well,
if he
part
was,
of the choice of JCube was just the thinking that as we go through forward with more languages, probably each language would have their own flavor the community likes. And JCube is just one that was identified in the Java community that was pretty popular.
okay.
Yeah, but regardless, so there's an actual use case. So setting aside the add-ons and the POCs and everything, there is a potential use case, and I think that was stated in this unified vision that we're putting together, in which we will have on the do work stage of this simplified workflow that we're putting together. One part of it will be the augmentation of the repositories, and part of that augmentation will be the automated generation of deployment manifests for Kubernetes first, and maybe other platforms in the future. That will be part of the user experience, regardless of the provider, the actual provider that does the actual task. Now we need to find out if we will be doing that with Move to Cube, with JCube, with a mixture of the two of them, give the user the possibility to even choose what's the implementation they want to use to generate their assets. That from a functional, I guess from a functional standpoint, we should be a little bit generic. I don't know if that's the right word, but not have a preference about the implementation itself. We should think about the problem. It's this old phrase we have in product management and development in general: fall in love with the solution, not with the So fall in love with the problem, not with the solution. So as long as we solve the problem, which is assets generation, it should be good. We shouldn't care that much about the actual implementation. But if we can, I mean, if Move to Cube is mature enough and can provide that functionality and is more extensible and this or that, I mean, that would be the right choice. But I'm guessing we are just exploring choices right now and exploring the add-on framework itself as well.
Yeah, I think a good example of what Ankur was able to illustrate was we have missing library functionality around committing these results back to the source repo. So like we're now working on adding that functionality into the add-on library functions. So thanks, Ankur, for doing that.
Thank you.
I would wonder, though, how can we get a shock started on this whole thing once we put more documentation together for the add-on architecture framework or whatever we want to call it. We share it, or Ashok, do you want to get started right away trying to get through this thing? I know there are some teams in IBM research. I think the TCA one are trying to do this thing by themselves. So I guess there are many ways in which we could work with each other to figure out, to start putting together a POC with Move to Cube for the same thing.
I think David's comment was probably a good one, is that the Thursday meeting, the SIG add-on.
Oh, yeah.
That's probably the best spot. So Ashok, if you could have somebody from your team joining on that add-on call, that's probably the really good one where we could go into details.
Sure, John. So this will be the SIG add-ons community, right? Where we'll get the invite.
Yep. Yeah, and on that one, the way the invite's managed is, I think it's Konveyor-add-ons. So you have to join that mailing list, and then the invites go to that mailing list.
Sure, got it.
Do we have a link? Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Ashok. I apologize. Yeah. I was just doing a house cleaning thing. So.
I was just saying that I'll just get somebody from my team to attend the call, and we can take it further from there.
I don't know, because I'm already on all those mailing lists. Do we have a section in the like? Is there a page where somebody can go to that we could link everybody to, or something like that, where they could go find all the links to all the different stuff? Is Savitha putting them in? And
Is
I
a
think we
great
have under the
question,
charters.
Yeah, I was going to put it on the community README itself and then link to the respective SIG charters, but have information in one place. I'll get to that.
Makes sense.
Sorry, I didn't update it.
It's fine. I was just asking if we could do it, because I think it'd be easier if we just always we all have that link and you can just drop it in and say like,
Yeah,
go
yeah.
join Six.
Yeah, and I'll add some more information to this community, the agenda also on the top, so that it's also easy for folks to navigate if they want to. And I'll put it on GitHub too. Thanks for bringing that up, Sean. I totally forgot.
Yes, Savit, I was going to say this thing you put together on the Konveyor Slack channel, the summary of the whole thing, just pasting that on the community meeting notes document, I think on the top of it would be good enough.
Awesome. I'll do that. Thank you, Ramon. All right. So do we have any thoughts or anything else to add to the demo? Awesome. Thank you, Ankur. That was a great demo. Moving on to the next one, that is from Hari Krishnan. Do we have Hari Krishnan on the call?
Yeah, I'm on the call.
Hi.
So you can just share the screen.
That sounds bad.
The system profiles. So maybe I can just explain. So we have a tool called MotiCube, right? And we have several submodules of that tool. We call them transformers. So each transformer is like a completely independent thing. We want to have container images for some of the transformers, and we need a place to put them. So we were thinking of a few places in Quay. I can share it in Slack. If we put it in chat. In chat, I've shared like 3 options. Either under the official Konveyor namespace or Konveyor MotiCube, like a different account. And we also have an account called MotiCube. So we didn't want to pollute the Konveyor namespace with a lot of images. Yeah, we can create an enhancement PR for this.
Yeah, so
but it's I don't think it requires any implementation from anybody else. Like,
yeah, I think the question is about the use of the shared resource, that's just a quiet namespace, whether it is the right place to put things like, for example, the images, like something which is particular to a project. Like, for example, in this case, MotiCube transformers can be the images here. So is the right place the Konveyor hub for publishing official transformer images, or should it be a separate namespace? I think that's a question we are trying to answer here.
I guess I only ask because it would be hard for me to make any sort of guess or statement if I don't understand. I just don't know how the transformer is supposed to be used, how the new ones get added, all that stuff. So the background is just, I just don't have any background. So it'd be hard for me in particular to give any sort of like, this is what I think. And I don't know if everybody else on the call feels the same. But it was just that I just don't have all the background, so it's hard for me to help. So I apologize for that. That's why I asked for the enhancement.
Yeah, there's also just a general thing that we're still in like growing pains. And the growing pains is trying to get focused more about the unified vision. I think where we're trying to go to is that we want on the Konveyor's focus to be this unified vision for modernization. And then we want to enable lots of different things in the community that can be experimented and kind of plugged in. And then once things have kind of become I think the community choice and mature to a certain level, that's probably the point when we would bring it more into like on Quay under Konveyor. So it's still growing pains. We're still kind of trying to figure out the rules ourselves of where everything goes. The general advice is probably when we're experimenting with something new, it's probably better not to have it in the Konveyor namespace in Quay. And then once things have kind of matured, I think after it's matured, we kind of see a community adoption. That's when maybe there's a graduation process. That's just rough thoughts, still pretty new in all this.
Sure, John. So when we talk about graduation process, are we talking about possibly something like within the project or for the project itself? Like, for
I really
example,
don't know. It's all new. Yeah, it's all new. So the basic thing is, as you know, like we're still trying to figure this out. A lot of growing things on here, and we're trying to, as you saw, like we took Crane out of Konveyor because it wasn't totally like aligned to stuff here, and we're trying to get the Konveyor namespace and all the stuff for CNCF, all things kind of clean, so it's all focused in this like unified vision with a hub and stuff. And I'm not really sure what the process is right now myself.
Sure. Yeah, and basically that's exactly where the question comes from, right? Do we have a what could be the possible method, and what should we start with?
Yeah.
Okay, can you see the screen? Hello.
Yes,
yeah,
we can.
So the one other concern is quota or limits. So like the Konveyor, I think Quake gives more quota to open source projects. So if we can get that.
Have
Yeah,
you?
so basically, whether there are any limits to it, if you are using the Konveyor one, because probably there is some Red Hat account or something like that attached to it.
So at the moment, I think all we did is we just created a namespace and we don't have anything registered. Like I don't believe this particular one registered anything with that it's related to Red Hat. So I believe what we have for Konveyor right now is just the standard that anybody would create. So if you went out and created a move to cube namespace, you would have the same kind of rights that we have under Konveyor.
Got it.
We do have a user account called Moody.
And that, what I would recommend is I'd say that would probably be the best spot to publish as much stuff as you have, all different experiments, everything kind of go there. And then as we see certain things that are the right integrations we want to expose and all that kind of stuff, that's probably when we can know more about what are the right things that get published on Konveyor namespace, and then what are the things that get published everywhere else. So I think the pattern, similar to this whole hub and spoke thing, I think the pattern is that the Konveyor namespace is going to be focused more about like this central hub piece. And then that is going to allow a lot of other things to plug into it.
Sure.
So far, I've understood that the main takeaways are we don't actually have a clear graduation process for images that want to project images that we want to move into the Konveyor namespace. We need to establish what that process looks like. And without that process, I think we're not quite ready to, like, until we establish that process, we're not ready to add a bunch of new images into the Konveyor namespace. Is that right?
I think it makes sense, David. Thank you.
Where would this conversation about the graduation process happen?
And regarding the graduation, so these images are not standalone. They are submodules, so they're not meant to be run by themselves. So we don't want to put it at the same level as like other standalone tools like Multicube or Tackle, Container Advisor.
Yeah, I wasn't meaning each image individually would need to go through the graduation process. I was more this like collection of images would have to go through together.
Yeah, but even that collection is not finite. Like we are adding to it.
So I think what you're saying is that it would help you if you had flexibility.
Yeah, so that's why we're thinking of having a namespace, something like conveyor -moodcube -transformers or something.
Yeah, I think it makes sense. Until we kind of know more about the stuff, it makes sense that you want flexibility, be able to move quickly in all different pieces on it. I would say that something that's outside of the conveyor namespace probably gives you the most flexibility right now. And then once things mature, we kind of know more, we can find out what's that path and what's the right way to kind of get everything else set up.
Sure.
So when this is my thought when I saw the announcement. So my mind went to this. So we don't have a process right now to how to add images to the org, the conveyor key org. So my head, I was thinking that enhancements meant for like having a common, like coming together and having a common GitHub action or some kind of CI. So no manual push happens and it is all automated all the time and can be verified, or like can go back and see where it is built and how it is pushed. So in my head, I know like Sean's enhancement question was totally different. In my head, like when I saw the enhancement and I thought about this. So I don't know if it makes sense to bring it here, but I just wanted to like let everyone know without like, I didn't want to keep it within myself. That's what I thought. Like we need a process where we can have automated images like built through CI and get pushed. And also the tag names and whatnot, because I don't want everything to be latest. No, not targeting the not targeting the slide there. I'm sorry, but it just came to my mind. Like, we should just have like some kind of tag names too, which can relate to the release, like whatever the pre-release or alpha, whatever that we decide later. It can just match that.
Yeah, we do automate all of it. So even these images that we are talking about, like everything is supposed to be automated. And yeah, we do have version tags for each release that we make. This was just an example. We do have latest image, but it points to whatever the latest version is.
It's perfect. Then I didn't even know about it. Probably at
Yeah, so it's built so GitHub Actions just builds the image and pushes it.
Would it make sense to like then have it at some place for people like me who don't know anything what they are talking and then come in and talking something randomly?
It would probably be good to put that in like a charter, right, or something like that. And then I was going to say the other thing here is that if we're going to share conveyor, you probably want to, have a limited group of people who have the tokens to push to that, and then
it's
if people
not,
are going to be okay.
Yeah, it's. I think we have a robot account which has the permissions to push.
Yeah. So Hari, I think then the consensus is that we will go with a separate account for the Transformers images for now, and when the time comes when we have a graduation process and stuff, we'll figure out whether we need to move it or not.
Sure. Thank you. Yeah, that's all we have for this.
All right, everyone. Does anyone have anything else to add? Any questions? Any topics that you want to bring up? All right. It's done. Well, I will see you all in 2 weeks. And if you're gonna be at KubeCon, come say hi. I'll be there. And that's it from me. Have a good day. Have a good evening. Good night.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks, everyone.